Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my tactical approach for Inter Milan. And let's get started with an overview. In my FM journey around different countries and leagues, there are two teams that have stood out with a specific tactical approach: Club Brugge in Belgium and Inter Milan in Italy. So what's that tactical approach? Well, I'm going to utilize the back three formation. The Inter Milan squad, like Club Brugge, is perfectly built for a back three, so that'll be my starting point. Which leads me to the second point. Create dynamic threats from the center backs. I don't just want three center backs, I want them to be involved in our attack. And the final approach will be to try and be defensively sound. There's less pressure on your attack if your team only needs to score 1 or 2 goals to win a match. Continuing on about the theme with tactical approach, there are two elements when using a back three formation that I always keep in mind when building out a tactic. But first, let's look at the formation I'm going to use, a 3-4-3. With this formation, we have 7 outfield players behind the halfway line as their starting position. By the power of deduction, that means we have 3 players in the advanced position. Which leads me to the two things I need to keep in mind with this formation. First, it takes more to get your attack going. More players sitting back means it takes more effort to get those rolls forward. And the second thing is the midfield can get very crowded very quickly with players. Getting players wide and into the half spaces is crucial to get this tactic to work. Now that that's out of the way, let's head to the next section and talk about our tactic. No surprise, our club for today is Inter Milan. And once again, here's the 3-4-3 formation we're using. We'll first look at the 3 center backs, where I wanted to get some dynamic movements. On the left, I've chosen a wide center back on attack, in the center, a central defender on the cover duty, and on the right side, a libero on support. With the back 3, I've chosen 3 completely different roles where they all have a different duty and purpose. We always want to think about how we can get different styles of play, even from players playing in the same position. Continuing on, our midfield is the greatest role in the game, paired alongside the Segunda Volante on attack. This gives us an effective pair, since the deep-lying playmaker is the holding role, but he's also our engine and pivot point in attack. The Segunda Volante plays in the midfield, but he's also going to get forward into the box and be a scoring threat. For the 2 wingbacks, I've gone with a wingback on support on the left side, and then a wingback on defend on the right. And then ahead of them, on the left we've got the wide target forward on support, and the winger on support on the right side. These 4 are going to be giving us our width and keep that midfield free. We're getting into my personal tactical preference for this Inter Milan squad, but you may have noticed that I have 4 players and they're basically all told to stay wide. There's always a give and take when making a tactic, and I don't mind that the 4 flank roles are all staying wide and will probably end up getting in each other's way a little bit. But the trade-off is that by staying wide, they're going to keep the midfield free for all those dynamic runs I have in the center of the field. Now I do have a bit of leeway because of the quality of Inter Milan squad, but if you think about your play roles and how they work together, you can make anything work, even if it may not seem so on the surface. And the last role is the striker, a complete forward on support. It's a role that's going to contribute in a variety of ways. Team instructions are simple. I like the positive mentality with these possession instructions and pairing them with a back 3 formation. The reason is that since we have so much movement from deeper in the formation, I like to focus on possession a little more to help them get further up the field without losing the ball. And here's our final tactic with roles and instructions. Let's check out some highlights to see how the tactic works. One thing I love about this tactic is at times we'll get our roles separated into pairs. You can see it on the right flank, the center, and the left flank. When building your tactic, I encourage you to watch it and see if you like the positioning of your players. I mentioned it earlier, but normally a wide target forward and a wingback on support end up in similar positioning. And they are. But with the sweeper keeper on the ball, watch how the 2 roles work together to create the goal. And this one starts with a deep-lying playmaker on the ball. When the play starts, keep an eye on the libero, who moves up into the midfield and then takes it up the field. And the final role we'll look at in this clip is the wide target forward on support. This is a rare role in FM because they're what's called a direct focus role. And what does that mean? Well, it means that teammates will look to pass them the ball with a more direct pass to let them use their physicality. And we'll see that here. We'll start this one with the complete forward on the ball in the attacking half. Now, attacking is fun, but we always want to think about what happens if we lose the ball and who's going to cover. So let's look at our back three: the wide center back, the central defender, and the wing back on defend, who have created a back three. Watch what happens when we lose the ball. We're able to get back and recover. Just like that, we win the ball back and hit them on the counter when their shape is unsettled. If you remember, in our formation, we don't have an attacking midfielder. So the complete forward on support has the room to drop into that space. When this happens, their center back will follow. Our segundo volante will replace the striker as he pushes up the field. When that happens, their fullback tucks in to mark the midfielder. Here's that playing out. So again, this is the segundo volante and this is their fullback who's had to tuck inside, leaving our winger on support unmarked. The libero is on the ball, acting as a pseudo playmaker. Our movement leads to a goal. Our last clip starts with the opponent on the ball in their own half, and it's where we see the strength of the team and tactic, the defensive shape. We win it back, and with the counter not on, we settle into our possession. The deep line playmaker will act as the pivot in our midfield. And I'll take some time to again talk about the flank roles. Like I said, usually it's a good habit to avoid using a winger and a wingback on the same side, or the wide target forward or wingback on the same side, since they'll be in the same positions. But hey, if you've got a plan, anything can work in FM. We have 4 roles staying wide, and a team instruction that tells them to stay wide. Now admittedly, this mostly works because of our elite striker, who has plenty of space to work as yet another pseudo playmaker in our tactic. Results have been good, but that's not too much of a surprise with a team like Inter. However, I want to focus in on this set of games here. In 3 games, 2 losses and 1 draw, we gave up 9 goals. In the other 18 games this season, we've only given up 9 goals. So what happened? In short, nothing. Most games were like this Celtic game. I wanted to highlight those 3 matches because in FM, there are things we're able to control and things we're not able to control. While it's frustrating, if your tactic is playing how you want but you're still not winning, then that's just part of the game, and frankly, we see it a lot in real life as well. All we can do is put our players in position to succeed, hope they play well, and after that, there's not much more we can do. If you'd like some player role apparel, you can check out the Half Space online store. I've also got a Patreon account if you'd like to support the channel. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.